In a moment so unexpected it brought the entire set to a standstill, Caitriona Balfe refused to film a pivotal scene at the very last second. Not because of the script. Not because of production delays or creative disagreements. But because she feared what that scene might do to Heughan once the cameras stopped rolling. No one on the Outlander set could have anticipated what unfolded that morning. Caitriona Balfe, the steady, disciplined backbone of the series, suddenly stepped back from an emotional sequence the writers, producers, and fans had been anticipating for months. Crew members watched in stunned silence as she closed her script, folded her arms against her chest, and said calmly, but with unmistakable resolve, that she couldn't perform the scene today. Or possibly ever. At first, assumptions flew quietly through the room. Exhaustion, scheduling strain, a technical problem, anything logical, anything familiar. But moments later, the truth emerged in a hushed confession that cut through the soundstage like electricity. She wasn't refusing because of the scene itself. She was refusing because she didn't want to inflict a certain kind of pain on Heughan, not as Jamie Fraser, but as Sam, the man behind the role. A ripple of shock passed through the crew. The director stared at her, visibly frozen, uncertain if he had heard her correctly. Caitriona, long known for her composure and resilience, looked uncharacteristically shaken, pacing slowly as if wrestling with something she had carried quietly for far too long. Across from her, Sam stood motionless, unable to conceal the flicker of vulnerability that crossed his face as cameras powered down around them. The silence became oppressive, heavy, so thick that even the assistant director hesitated to breathe too loudly, unsure whether he was witnessing an emotional breakdown, a confession, or something far more complex. This wasn't a routine pause or an actor's hesitation. This was personal, raw, laden with history that had never been spoken aloud. The crew exchanged uneasy glances. Caitriona Balfe, who had endured brutal shoots, devastating storylines, and relentless emotional demands, was refusing a scene because she didn't want to hurt her co-star in real life. Her voice trembled only slightly as she explained that she didn't want to carry that energy into their off-camera relationship. The weight of the scene crossed a line, she said, and it wasn't one she was willing to step over, not with him. Sam took a tentative step toward her, searching her face for answers no one else could decipher. The tension between them grew so sharp even the lighting operator lowered his hands instinctively, as though afraid to disturb something fragile. Whispers began erupting in corners of the soundstage. Was this emotional bleed-through? Had the line between performance and reality finally dissolved? Was there something deeper between them that had gone unnoticed until now? The director eventually called for a break, but no one moved. They were too stunned, too aware that something monumental had been exposed without being said outright. Caitriona exhaled shakily, her shoulders tight with restraint. Sam offered a gentle smile, one that didn't quite reach his eyes. This wasn't about a scene anymore. It was about a bond that had grown beyond the limits of the script. The rumors began as a murmur. The kind of murmur too charged to remain quiet for long. Within hours, it spread through makeup rooms, soundstage corridors, and eventually online fan communities like a spark finding dry grass. Caitriona Balfe refused to film a crucial scene, not due to logistics, safety, or contracts, but because she didn't want to hurt Heughan. It sounded impossible. These were seasoned professionals, both known for pushing themselves to emotional extremes. But the rumor endured because it carried undeniable weight, the idea that acting and reality had finally collided, and that Caitriona had reached a boundary she simply would not cross. That morning had begun like any other long shoot day. Cold studio air, harsh lights. The scene scheduled before them was one fans had anticipated for months, a confrontation heavy with heartbreak, tension, and emotional devastation. The episode had been built around it. Every department was ready. But the moment never came. Sam arrived early, relaxed, joking with crew members, idly spinning a prop ring in his fingers. Caitriona arrived quiet, too quiet. Her hands were clasped in front of her as if holding something together. Those who knew her well felt the shift instantly. She wasn't anxious. She was conflicted. She reviewed the script repeatedly, pacing as though searching for an exit that didn't exist. When the director approached gently, asking if everything was all right, she met his gaze, steady, but heavy. I don't know if I can do this scene today. The director blinked, caught off guard. Caitriona had never shied away from emotional intensity. He reassured her gently. She shook her head. It's not that, she said. It's Sam. Confused, he pressed lightly. Caitriona hesitated, choosing her words with care. The way it's written, the things Claire says, I don't want to bring that energy to him. I don't want to hurt him. Nearby, Sam turned when he heard his name. What's going on? Caitriona looked at him then, not composed, not guarded, but vulnerable. I don't think I can do this scene. He stepped closer. It's just a scene. It's not, she whispered. Not this one. The room held its breath. Sam's expression softened instantly. Is it me? He asked quietly. I don't want to bring that kind of pain into what we have, she said. He lowered his voice. You could never hurt me. She looked at him, eyes shimmering. That's exactly why I can't. The director cleared his throat, shaken. We'll adjust. We'll take a break. Caitriona nodded, grateful, and walked away. Sam remained where he was, staring at the space she'd left behind, not angry, not confused, but affected, as though he had just discovered depths he hadn't fully understood before. When the door to her dressing room closed, the whispers ignited. She refused because she didn't want to hurt him. Whatever it meant, everyone knew one thing for certain. Something real had surfaced that day, something powerful enough to stop a scene, silence a set, and change the way everyone saw the bond between them forever.